welcome you to the Melin Homes webinar. Georgina James will be delivering the presentation, and my colleague Leslie Smith will be coming in at the end of the presentation too. Just a quick reminder, if you can have a pen and paper with you when you start looking at the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Georgie. I work at Melin Homes. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a housing association, and we cover 5 local authorities, which is Torfaen, Newport, Monmouthshire, Blaenau Gwent and South Powys. So we have approximately around just over 4,000 homes, and we've been going for about, I think we're in our 11th year now, so quite a long time. We've got roughly 270 people working for us, and there's a massive variety of jobs, there's loads. I've got a little video that I'm going to show you first, and this is from our Chief Executive, Paula Kennedy, and she's going to explain a little bit how she got into housing and what Melin stands for.
So I started out, I'm one of the very few people who started out making a choice to have a career in housing. I finished my A-levels and I did a degree in housing. And I found it really interesting. There's such a broad range of opportunities to work in when you work in housing. I'm responsible for leading the organisation, and on a day-to-day basis that involves working with the board and ensuring that we've got effective governance across all of the things that we do, making sure that we have a long-term strategic vision in place. We exist to create opportunities for people and communities to thrive. And some of those opportunities might be about employment opportunities, they might be about advice, financial support, they might be about general support with day-to-day living. But there's a whole range of things that we do as an organisation that aren't just about housing, that help people create their homes and help people create vibrant communities that they live in.
Okay, so as I said, that was our Chief Executive. She's fab. Really cares about the community, and that's what Melin is. We have a strong community ethos. So a little bit about me and my story. So mine's a little bit different to A-levels onto uni and then into a job. I did things a little bit different. So if some of you are thinking, I'm not really sure what I want to do, I don't want to go to uni, listen to my story and it might give you some inspiration. So here I am, envisage me, 13 years old. I'm my mum works for Melin under Care and Repair, and she hears about this youth group that they're setting up in Melin. And she was like, George, you're going along. And I was like, oh, really? Do I have to? And then as soon as I went, I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to learn so much from this. It's going to be community focused. I'm going to be able to talk to people. I love talking to people. I'm going to be able to gain opportunities, gain my networks. So I actually volunteered from the age of 13 to 18. So I did a good 5 years. The type of stuff I did litter picking. I did a bit of festival work repping as part of Melin. I did trips with our residents, taking them out. Went to the rugby. There was loads of stuff, loads of really good stuff that I could get stuck into and that I could practice my communication skills, because they're massive when you go into a work place. So come to the end of my A-levels then, I took performing arts and I took double health studies. And I just literally did not know what I wanted to do. All my friends had their lives sorted out and I was just like, oh. So my mum was like, George, you need to find something that you're going to enjoy. Work is going to be for the majority of your life now, so it needs to be something that you're passionate about. So I was thinking, I'm not really sure. So got quite good grades in my A-levels. Then a post came up in Melin, so it was a 6-month maternity cover contract. It was just for the 6 months and at an officer's role. So I had never worked anywhere before, literally. I'd never been employed by anyone. So the only thing I had is volunteering. I say that's the only thing, but that's the thing that got me the job. So all the volunteering work and all the experience I've had was equivalent to working somewhere else. And as a thank you, and I'm so lucky for this, Melin paid for my driving test and my lessons leading up to the job interview, and it was all on whether I passed my driving test as to whether I could go for the job. Luckily for me, I passed, and I got the job at Melin as well. But then I didn't stop. I didn't think, oh, I've got a job now, it's fine, it's all right for 6 months. I couldn't just lay back. I had to keep showing that what I could give and what my potential was. So I went on training. The job that I went into was something I'd never done before. I was working in energy, and I was like, well, I'm not really sure if I know a lot about energy, but I thought I have the skills. I have the skills to be able to learn, to be able to communicate. There was stuff going into schools, there was training people, and I knew that I could be confident presenting. So it's just learning the trade then of the energy. I went on all training courses, learned my stuff, and I worked really hard for those 6 months to try and improve myself. Luckily for me, it worked, and I got kept on a little bit longer. And then following that, I got kept on for another year, and then I was eventually made permanent. So I've now been at Melin for 4.5 years, and I've really loved every moment of it. I've had a few different roles along the way, but now my current role is my most favourite. So I'm working on a programme called FACE, which is a schools programme. And it's basically, I come up with the idea, we come up with the offer, and I'll go into a little bit about where it came from and how it started up. On my journey as well at Melin, there was a competition a year and a half ago now to go out to Cambodia, which is in Asia, to build a home for a family. Now, I was 21 at the time, and that was such a life-changing experience for me to go through. But I wouldn't have had that opportunity had I never done the youth volunteering from 13 to 18, had I not worked really hard for those 6 months. So I see myself as lucky, but really I did work for it all those years before that. So the message I'm trying to come across today is that even if you're not sure what you want to do, volunteer, get your face out there, get looking. It's really, really what we need to all be doing to make sure that we're improving ourselves as much as we can. So this leads me on to FACE. So this is the logo here that I'm showing you now, and it stands for Future, Active, Career and Elevate. So F, future, is all about the economy. So we want to go into schools and we want to teach about how you can do your bills, your mortgages, how you rent a house. When you go to uni, what are the best interest rates when you're going for student finance? We want you to be aware of how to cope when you get to adult life. Then we've got active, which is all about being active in the community, active mentally and active physically. As you know, there's so much around mental health now with young people, and we want to encourage you to take an interest in your mental health and your physical health, because they both combine together. So we do loads of programs on that. And then we've got career. So that's pretty self-explanatory. We want to open up your eyes to the jobs that are in housing, because there's loads and there's so much progression that you can do in housing. Also we do interview techniques, CV skills. And then we've got Elevate, which is basically the cherry on the top to all the programs. So it's looking at your aspiration levels, your motivational levels, what makes you work harder, and giving you that motivation to achieve more. How we start the schools project off, it started from something very small. So I was doing a little bit of energy work. Our communities team in Melin were doing a little bit of work with schools. And then Careers Wales approached us to do a business class partnership and said, would you like to work with Aberystwyth School, which is in Torfaen, for 3 years, and just see if you can help them with their business needs. It'll be a partnership, and it's actually been really successful. So we've done a lot of work with them, and this is where the schools program kind of developed. So I moved from there, and I took the opportunity to go for it as well. So now we've got a little quiz for you to do. Enough of me talking. We're going to see where your face fits. So what I've done is I've created a little quiz. I think there's 8 questions, and you just answer them A, B, or C. So you need to make sure that you've got paper and a pen in front of you. What we'll do at the end, we'll count up all your A's, all your B's, and all your C's, and then we'll see which category you fit into Melin. So this test or quiz is suited to your personality and not necessarily what you enjoy doing. We are in work for 35 hours of the week. That's literally a half our week. So we need to be doing something we're enjoying and that suits our personality. If you like talking to people, there's no point in you having a desk, office-based job. You need to be out and about and interacting. And the other way as well. If you don't like talking to people, you don't want to be in a job where you have to do that all the time with the public. You might be suited better to a job that involves being at the desk. So A, B, or C, and answer them. I'm going to go through them. Okay, first question. Are you passionate about helping people? So A, I'm passionate about helping people. I know I want to work in a role that helps. B, I like helping people and I'd like it to be part of my job. Or C, it's not a priority for me to have a people-focused job. I prefer to focus on systems and protocols. So you prefer to be in the background doing all the databases and stuff like that. I'll give you 2 seconds to answer that. Okay, next question. So this is about problem solving. So is problem solving for you? A, are you more of a quick thinker than a problem solver? B, I'll do it if I have to, but it's not really something I enjoy doing. Or C, I like problem solving and it challenges me. So basically, if you love getting stuck into something, working something out, then you would be C. But if you're more of like, oh, think on my feet, you'd probably lean towards A. We're in the middle, we're a B. I'll give you 2 seconds. Okay, next one. Are you sociable? So I'm definitely an A on this one. A, I can talk and talk all day. I'd love a job that involved that. B, I like talking to people, but I do need quiet time as well. Or C, I don't really like talking to people. I prefer to be in the background. Okay, next one. This one everyone gets torn on, so you really need to pick one that suits you the most. If you had to choose, just pick one. So you'd prefer either A, drama, music, art, or sports. B, computing, designing, or building. Or C, writing, reading, and researching. Okay, next one. What are you best at? A, coming up with ideas and going with the flow. B, listening to other people's views and adapting to changes. Or C, planning ahead and organising. So if you're someone that can just pick things up and run with it, you're more likely to be an A. If you're quite, you're in the middle, so you like listening to other people and changing things and adapting it and making sure that you're getting it right, but you're still progressing and moving. Or are you C, you need to know everything you're doing in advance, and you need to organise it and plan ahead. By now you should start seeing a pattern coming. Okay, next one. So do you like, again, just choose one, A, fixing things or improving situations, B, investigating and inspecting, or C, concentrating for long periods? So if you're a person that needs to do things in chunks, so if you had an essay to do for English, say Macbeth or something, and you had to get it completed in 3 weeks' time, are you the type to do it block by block, or would you just get it all done so it's all done in one session? So if you're more the block by block, you're more A or B, and if you're get it all done, you're more likely to be a C. Okay, next one. Do you prefer to A, work as part of a team, B, a good mixture of both working in a team and on your own, or C, work on your own? So for me, I'm definitely an A. I love being a part of things with people, but then some people just need to be on their own, or some people like a good mixture of both. Okay, so we're on our last one now. I love doing theory work. So A, if you agree with this, I'll do it if I have to, but I prefer to communicate. B, I don't not like it, but I don't love it at the same time. And C, yes, I love writing and have a theoretical way of thinking. So if you enjoy reading, writing, researching and doing essays and doing your homework with long pieces of writing, then you are a theoretical learner, technically. So you would be a C. But if you're more hands-on, you've got to be doing something. Usually you can tell if you are an A because you're always moving your hands like me. Or you've got a pen in your hands, or you're always tapping or fiddling with something. You're more likely to be an A, but you could be balanced and in the middle. Okay, so what I want you to do now is count up all your A's, B's and C's and see which types of jobs best suit you. So if you have an even number of both, then consider the options. If you're an even plane of A, B and C, then it suggests that you can do any of these roles. Again, if you're equal to A or B and C, or A and C, then I'll go through that now of how it could work. So in all the roles you'll see, there are assistant, officers and management roles. We won't click on any of the jobs today because I'll be going through them as it is. By now, you should have counted up if you're in an A, a B or a C. I'm just going to go quickly through the type of job roles that there are. So if you're an A, the job that probably best suit you within housing is working with the public. So this is very social jobs. You're talking most of your day. So if you wanted to work in Melin, these are the options for you. So we've got a community engagement role. So they work with our residents nearly every day. They're out and about in our schemes, on our sites that we have. They're interacting with our residents. They do events for them. They do celebrations at our sheltered schemes. We take a bunch of our younger people and the residents out, take them fishing or to the beach. And it's a really fun, active, hands-on job. But you are dealing with residents and public, so you will get a lot of issues that they have or concerns that are fed back to you. So you need to be able to be approachable and kind of strategic in the way you're replying. And you really need to have an open mind because people may have some issues and you need to understand where they're coming from and bring it back and work with other teams. Is a very social job. Then, if you like helping people, another good job for you would be working in energy advice, income support, or employment support roles. So basically, these people that in Melin, they work with our residents and they help them financially. So they help them with their money, making sure they've got the right grants, benefits that they're entitled to, making sure that they are on the best income that they can have, and making sure that if they have any issues that they're not struggling and that we're helping them. Then you've got energy advice. So some people pay way too much for their bills and electricity and gas bills than they should be, and it's just a matter of having the knowledge to be able to sort it out and make sure that you're on the lowest price possible. Then obviously it's helping people get into employment. So there are a lot of our residents that are currently not on work, and not because they don't want to, it's just because they're not sure which route they want to go into, or they've been ill and are struggling to find work again. So we have people that are qualified to go in and work with these people, get their confidence up, get their CV writing skills up. Really, really good job if you love helping people. Then we've got housing officers. So we've got lots of different roles within housing. So there's people that help collect the rents. There's antisocial behaviour, so if we have residents that are being disruptive, so if they're playing music at night or they've got a noisy dog, or they I don't know, swearing at their neighbours or something, this is where the antisocial behaviour officers step in and help out. We've also got admin officer and managing roles within all these jobs I've mentioned. Then we've got a care and repair officer. So care and repair is like a subsidiary to Melin. It's its own charity within its right, but it sits within Melin for Torvine and Monmouthshire areas. And we also have a scheme manager. So we have extra care schemes where elderly people live, and they all live together. They have communal rooms, they come together, and that's where we do some events with the community engagement roles. But this is generally helping older people, and it's a very rewarding job, but you do need to be aware that a lot of these people have gone through a lot of grief, bereavement. Some of them are quite lonely, so you need to be really patient. You need to be able to listen. If you're not a listener, then this job you might struggle with. You need to really be, when you're talking to that person, you're just talking to them. So you need to have really good social skills to be in this job. Then you've got customer contact. Now, some people just think this is answering the phones. It's not. It is probably one of the most important jobs in housing, because they are our first point of call. When we've got residents ringing in, or any of our clients or business partners, they all come through this direct line. Now, if you're having a bad day, you can't be like, hello, Melin Homes. You've got to be bright, you've got to be bubbly, you've got to be prepared to think on your feet, think fast. You've got to work with our direct workforce who go out and they're with our residents fixing their homes when they have issues. They check all our social media, they answer everything on there. It's a really important role to make sure that the first point of call that people come to is a bright feeling, which is what we want Melin to be about, community focused. Then we have a last role, which is the team I'm sitting in now, which is the sustainability role. So this is quite a new group, a new team. So we're still coming up with what exactly it entails. But we have my roles that sits within this. So we do schools, we have an environment side of it, and we also have procurement. Now, if you're in procurement, you can either be an A or a B. So I'll go into this later now. So B roles. These tend to be still quite social jobs, but you're more in the office. So you're working with staff members rather than the public. It's a nice balance actually of being in the office and out, and speaking to residents and staff. So we have IT technicians. There are probably jobs out there, well, that don't even exist yet, that you can go for when you get to the age of going into work, especially in IT, because everything's advancing so fast. But currently, we have people that are responsible for helping us with day-to-day systems. So if my computer's playing out, we've got people that can help us and sort it out for us. They're also responsible for looking after the servers and making sure that we're updated with every system that we need to make sure that Melin can work. If all the computers are down, nearly every person in Melin uses a computer, so it makes it really hard to do a work. So it's a very important job. Now, in IT as well, we also have people that are responsible for moving the business into the 21st century. So it's looking for new ideas, better ways we can do things, better systems, creating our databases that we can keep all our information on. So if you like coding, there's a lot of work involved in that. Then you've got marketing and communications. So if you like writing, you quite enjoy English, and maybe you're doing stories or newsletters, posters, this is a really fun job to do. So marketing roles, they work with all the teams in Melin and make sure that we are getting all the good news stories that we can have. And then you've got the graphic designers that design everything. So the Melin logo that you've seen, the face logo that you've seen, they design all that. They work with us. They see what do you want, what message you want to come across, and they design it all for us. So it's an amazing job to be in, because you can be really creative and hands-on. Then you've got human resources, which you may not know about, but it's basically, in Melin, it's called people and learning. So we have one side, which is about people. So all our staff can go for support to HR, and they can say, like, if they're having a problem with their manager, they will go for mediation with them. If they're just a bit stressed, you can go there and you can get assistance. But they're also the first point of call when new people join us. So when people come for interviews, they're the people who send the messages out. When telling people they've got the job or they haven't got the job, they do that role too. And they're also responsible for timesheets and making sure that expenses are sorted, and all that system of managing what the staff do, their hours, any of the issues they've got. It's a really, really responsible job. So you really need to be organised, hands-on, and have really good personal skills in this job. Then on the other side of human resources, we've also got the training. So I've had loads of money spent on me to do training to benefit me, to make me better, to progress me, and it's been amazing. And we have a team that's responsible for driving the training forward, making sure that we're up to all the legal training that we need. So that's fab. If you're also be a very good cleaner, it's very social, you're working with staff, and you usually have a good attention to detail. And then we've got direct workforce. This kind of fits in between an A and a B. So there's electricians, plumbers, plasterers, painters and decorators, all the hands-on job, which is going into the homes, working with the residents, but also working with the staff as well, and following a very, very tight schedule. So you need to be organised, you need to be good at your skill and your craft and your trade. We do apprenticeships in this, so that is maybe something to consider when you're looking at housing associations, that there are apprenticeships available. Then we've got finance. So finance is basically they're in charge of all the money that comes into Melin. They make sure that no one's taking any money that they shouldn't be. They make sure that all the audit trails are there. So we have people that come in and check that we are spending our money correctly. Obviously it's residents' money as well, so they're dealing with rents. Really, really quite a serious job, so you need to be able to prepare to be looking after a lot of money if you're coming into the housing. You need to be comfortable with that. And then the last one is procurement. So this just basically means buying stuff better. So say we're going out for a fencing contract for one of our schemes, so they need new fencing. We can't just go, oh yeah, we'll have the highest price because they'll be the best quality. There's actually processes that we have to go to. So we'd have to get the 3 best prices that we can get, or best, whatever they can offer us needs to be the best option for us. And then they go through a marking process, and then they get awarded through giving in their tenders. So this job, you've got to be very good at attention to detail, and you've got to be able to communicate well, because we're working with a lot of contractors, building sites, so we need to be hands-on with that and be able to have good social skills. This is a B. Now C's. This means you're very strategic. So a lot of C's tend to want to go into management or running their own business. So we've got performance management workers. So they look at all the data, they look at how happy our residents are, and then they tell other people or teams within Melin, you need to work on this area. We need to do this, this and this to make our statistics better, but also make our residents happier and more comfortable living in our homes, because happy residents makes a happy Melin. And then you've also got jobs that involve bid writing. So sometimes we're always applying for money and funding just to try and get projects running that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do without that. So people need to be able to write. This is where, if you're good with theory and like writing essays, you would be very good at bid writing. Do also, when you do a bid writing, also need to have good background in maths. Then you've got a health and safety worker, so they're responsible for the whole they're just responsible for the whole health and safety, but the offices, they're out on sites when we're building new homes, which leads us next on to development. So development, they're responsible for the driving forward the housing. So when we build new homes, what are they going to look like? What do we need? They draw our homes, they design them, they work with contractors, they go on site and make sure that they're doing everything they should be doing. They work with Welsh Government. Very high quick on your feet, but strategic job as well. So you really need to be able to focus in this job because you're building the homes that people are going to live in, so that it needs to be good attention to detail. And the last one is corporate service roles. They're responsible for getting everything in Melin, from uniform to stationery, to buffets that come in. We always have food in Melin. That's probably the best part about working there. So I'm just touching on roles there. Now I've got 3 videos to show you, and they are, one is an A job, one is a B job, and one is a C job. So I just want to give you a little insight as to what this person does and maybe how they got into it. So first of all, we're going to look at A.
Hi, my name's Rielston and I'm the Customer Contact Team Manager. I'm responsible for a team of people who primarily take telephone calls, dealing with members of the public or our residents, so dealing with all of their queries. That could be rent inquiries, booking a repair, booking in a gas service. It can be really exciting, it can be really busy, there can be a real buzz in a contact centre. So to work on the customer contact team, you have to be chatty, you have to be able to use lots of different systems, so you have to have a fair understanding of IT. You have to be able to listen to people and show some empathy. When I went to uni, I did a business and finance degree. From there, I went into a number of roles. I sort of fell into a bit of a HR role, but after a little while, I just enjoyed dealing with people. And I loved sort of customer service and front-facing roles, so I joined a contact centre, and I've just really been in customer services ever since then.
Okay, so that was an A. Again, like I said, customer contact, first point of call, so you've got to be really chatty. Right, we're looking at a B now.
Hi, I'm Louise. I'm the digital officer and I work in the technology team. My job role includes helping people with technology, whether that's our residents, our customers, or staff members. Even though you need to know a little bit about technology, it's mainly people skills that you need. So you need to be chatty and friendly and approachable, really, because everyone's going to come to you with their problems. My favourite part of my job is that it's different every single day. No day is the same. Sometimes I'm sat at the desk writing policies, and then the next day I might be out and about meeting people and helping them. I went to university and I did politics. I knew that I was really going to enjoy it. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do afterwards. And I fell into a work placement with the local authority, and after 2 weeks with them, they said, why don't you try working at a housing association? Melin's down the road, we've got a job there for you for 6 months. So I went and started with Melin. I started in the communities team, and I was helping people with PCs that we were giving out at the time. And then after that, I moved to another housing association, and then a few years later I came back to Melin. So I've been in the same sort of job for 7 years now, but the role has really significantly changed in that time.
So again, another different side of it, that's another IT job that you could potentially go into, helping people get online. And then finally, we're going to look at a C job.
Hi, I'm Marcus. I work as a health and safety officer in the health and safety team at Melin Homes. My role involves basically keeping people safe, keeping our staff safe when they go out and work in residents' homes, keeping our residents safe to make sure any work we do is not dangerous, and generally making sure we don't break the law. There's health and safety laws that we have to meet. I mainly do this by going out to these places and doing inspections, checking everything and checking the work we do is safe. So to work in health and safety, you need to not only know about the regulations, but follow the regulations. Secondly, I think you need to be passionate about keeping people safe. It needs to really matter because it is important. And sometimes, if you see people cutting corners, you have to really tell people why it matters that these laws are in place and why we should keep to them. I ended up working in health and safety just through Melin, really. I didn't go to university. I didn't really know I wanted to work in health and safety. I started at Melin, the customer contact team, answering the phones to residents. And I was asked if I wanted to do some courses and kind of, train up in asset management and health and safety, and kind of moved on from there, really. Melin gave me the opportunity to learn about it. and get my qualifications in it. And yeah, went from strength to strength.
Okay, so as you can see, a lot of those roles there, no one really saw a career in housing, they just ended up there. But we don't want that for you, because a career in housing should be something that is well known. We're always going to need housing. People are always going to need somewhere to live. So it's probably one of the most stable jobs that you can have. And there's so many roles in there. So many people try different things each time. If you want to go volunteer, if you want to just have work experience there, most housing associations would be happy to have you, because they love seeing people that are energized and ready and committed and focused to really go for a job and try a career out. Now these are just jobs in Melin that I've mentioned, but even if you're not local to the areas I've mentioned, there are housing associations everywhere near wherever you are. So approach them. If you fancy giving a job a go there, then go for it. Now I can see we've had some questions at the bottom. So if you have any questions in the future, just please feel free to comment on the video, wherever it is, and we'll do our best to answer. But I'm just going to go through these two. So do you work in all schools or in particular areas? Now, Melin, we tend to work with only what areas we cover. So that's Monmouthshire, Torvine, Newport, Blaenau Gwent and South Powys. So because we want to interact with our residents, it wouldn't make sense for us to go to, say, Caerphilly, because we don't have any homes there, so we're not going to interact with our residents. Our main aim is to make sure that our residents are integrated into their communities and that we're helping both them and their neighbours. Okay, so the next one. Where are the jobs usually advertised? Now, we have jobs advertised on our website. We use a lot of social media. We use job search sites like Indeed. So it's quite widely known that when a job comes out, you'll see it, especially on the internet. So always keep a lookout on those job sites. Could have scored in those areas. Right. Yeah, so if you are within the areas that we've mentioned, you're more than welcome to contact us. It's schools@melinhomes.co.uk. Whether it's a pupil wanting to do some work experience, come in for the day, try someone's job out for the day, that's fine. Or if you want us to come into the school and do some workshop teachers, we're happy to do that as well. So yeah, you can contact us directly. But yeah, like I said, if you have any other questions, just send them in to schools. Now I'm going to hand over to Leslie, who's going to finish off our webinar today.
Hello everyone. I think you'll agree that Georgina has given us a really good insight into the housing sector, and I hope for the young people who are watching this, you now have a really good idea of the huge range of job roles that you could be looking at. And also you may have a better insight into what type of character you are, and if indeed you're not interested in jobs in housing, it will give you an indication of what types of jobs in perhaps other sectors you might be looking at. So as I said, if you want to contact Melin and you've got any questions, please feel free to do that, or you can either contact myself or Michelle Gauvier, and we'll pick up on any inquiries. So thank you for being involved in this, and I'd like to say thank you again to Georgie from Melin, and good morning. Bye then.